Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for your second Chelsea news video of the day. We also had a Xavi Simons watch along earlier on because he started for RB Leipzig today, if you didn't know. So keep an eye on GBFC because I'm going live at the moment every day, sometime from around lunchtime throughout the mid-afternoon in the UK. So as well as that, we have also just about hit 350,000 subscribers. I think I'm like one away at the time of me recording this video. So by the time you watch it, I want to say a big thank you for 350k. It's a big milestone. We are on the way to 500,000. Who knows if we will and when we will hit it. But I do want to say a massive thank you again for all of the love, all the support, all the comments on the channel throughout the course of this summer. It has been absolutely mad. In this video, we have got a ton of Chelsea news to go into. So without any further ado, let's get cracking with the latest, of course, on Xavi Simons. This is from Fabrizio a couple of hours ago. Understand Chelsea and Leipzig are now in advanced talks for Xavi Simons. Negotiations club to club progressing well. Still work to do, but heading in a positive direction. Xavi keen on Chelsea project with personal term talks also advanced. We move here. In terms of Xavi Simons, the owners of Chelsea and Leipzig are in direct conversations rather than bids going in. If you remember, Nkunku was done in a secret way. They have a very good relationship. Negotiations are ongoing. We have to be patient. And then this is also said from Fabrizio. From what I'm told, Simons talks are advancing, and we are talking about the highest people in both clubs, talking directly, Chelsea owners and RB Leipzig higher-ups. Bayern called several times this week to be informed over Xavi Simons, and Arsenal interested and has talked to his agent. However, Chelsea are clear favourites. This is huge, really, because at the moment, Xavi Simons is very much still a Red Bull Leipzig player, and I'm going to put the highlights probably up on this side of the screen right now. This was Xavi Simons playing today in a number 10 position, wearing the number 10 shirt for Red Bull Leipzig. They beat Toulouse 7-0 in a very sunny-looking friendly in Germany, and he looked absolutely fantastic. He got 2 assists, 1 from a corner, and I tell you what, if you watch the game, which I did, and I watched the first half at least, and that was by far the best half from what I've been told and what I've read, Xavi Simons on the corners, every single time, he's getting the ball exactly on the little spot right on that 6-yard box that's almost close enough for the goalkeeper to come, but they had countless players, Leipzig, attacking those corners, and it looked fantastic. So as much as we'll go into Xavi Simons more, if we get the deal done, I'm saying it right now, set pieces, this is what we're going to expect. I think Xavi Simons could be brilliant on those set pieces, and I've wanted to see a really top corner taker, particularly at Chelsea now, for quite some time. So let's go and look at what Philipp Heinz has said, who has been the Sky Germany reporter that we've referenced a lot throughout the course of this week. Despite negotiations with Chelsea, Xavi Simons is in RB Leipzig's starting lineup for the friendly against Toulouse. Still no agreement has been reached. Talks are ongoing, while Leipzig continue to demand a package of 70 million, including add-ons. There is no official bid on the table, but all of this is, it doesn't really matter at the moment. If Behdad Eghbali, who I believe is probably the one negotiating this deal for Chelsea, if we're talking about the higher-ups, and remember, Ali Barrett, a name that I've said to you guys, just keep in the back of your mind the name Ali Barrett, who's an agent who has been brought in to work on this deal. He also worked on Jackson to Chelsea, Caicedo to Chelsea, and he's very close to Behdad Eghbali, who's one of the Chelsea owners. So, with this being said, there's no need for Chelsea to just go out there and be like, here's a bid. What do you say? Here's a bid. What do you say? This is going to be one of those deals that comes out of the blue, and it's not going to be a, oh, personal terms are now agreed. Let's wait another day and a half and see if Chelsea make a bid. I think when we get the news about this deal, it's going to be the here we go. That is the next thing that's going to happen here. Or it doesn't. Maybe we still don't sign Xavi Simons, and hopefully sometime today, maybe tomorrow or early next week, this deal will get done. Chelsea, if the owners are there talking to Leipzig's owners, they also wanted one of our players too. They want Carney Chukwuemeka. So there's a lot of I's to be dotted, T's to be crossed here regarding Chelsea and Leipzig getting the best value out of this deal. And again, like I said, there is no point in Chelsea submitting bids when we're talking about the highest people at both clubs working on the negotiations. But I'm telling you now, let's get this done, please. Let's not have any of the Michael Olise to Bayern Munich. Let's not have any of the Victor Osimhen's from last summer staying at Napoli after all of those negotiations, conversations and whatnot. So fingers crossed, this is getting done, hopefully, in the next few hours. Let's move now. Inter Milan reportedly inquired about the availability of Chelsea and Brazil midfielder Andrey Santos. The player's agent, Giuliano Bertolucci, indicated to Inter that Chelsea are in no rush to sell Santos this summer. The price tag for the Brazilian would be high. I'm very excited for Andrey Santos. There is obviously so much talk at the moment about what Chelsea is still doing in the transfer market, be it trying to sell Joao Felix, and that seems to be in the same position. We're trying to sell Sterling. Fulham are now reportedly open to bidding for Keenan Dewsbury-Hall, as opposed to the loan move that we were discussing yesterday. But there could already be exits in Chelsea's midfield. If Dewsbury-Hall leaves, then I think the door is 100% shut for Santos. And I'd like to hope and think that the door is already 100% shut. Nicolas Jackson, right? Enzo Maresca wants Nicolas Jackson. We're going to talk in this video at the end about the latest there, because I think I remember telling you on GBFC, keep an eye on Newcastle for Nicolas Jackson. This always just made sense to me. And now we are going to find out a lot more about Newcastle and Nicolas Jackson. But Andrey Santos, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's got a big part to play in Chelsea's season. I think he's competing directly for Enzo Fernandez's position. I think Caicedo, Lavia, Enzo will see those three play a lot of times this season, as good as the formation and everything was at the Club World Cup. If Lavia is fit, I think those three together is still probably my preferred midfield. But Andrey Santos, wanted by Inter. Adios, amigos. You ain't getting the bloke. Let's move now. Contract talks between PSG and Donnarumma have effectively stalled via L'Equipe. Should Chelsea make their move if he is willing to leave Paris? Now, obviously, this is a question from the account Chelsea Transfer, but L'Equipe keep on talking about Chelsea. And I know that we had the story yesterday or the day before. All the days are kind of just like conjoined in one to me right now, regarding Chelsea not wanting to be associated to the Alexander Isak story, ruling ourselves out because we don't want Delap and Pedro to be like, what's going on here? So with Donnarumma, there could be a chance that Chelsea could go in for Donnarumma, but I just find it a bit weird that L'Equipe keep using Chelsea's name if it wasn't even remotely true. Chelsea aren't just going to go and throw money at Donnarumma, but inquiries about, is he available? Is he signing a new contract? What are the wages going to be? What could it be that we could prize him from PSG for? I wouldn't be surprised about it in the slightest. I've also made my claim that I think Mike Maignan will still join Chelsea. But Robert Sanchez, okay, he definitely deserves a lot of praise because he's been very good now for a few months. He's improved massively with his feet. I remember there was a moment, I think it was Ipswich at home at Stamford Bridge, where the noise from behind the goal, and then he panicked and then kicked the ball long, and then all of a sudden Ipswich scored from that very move. That was like the end of the lows that we witnessed for Robert Sanchez. From this point, I think Maresca saw that and was like, right, we've got a problem here because the distribution has been bad. It's led to errors, but now we're going long and we are making even more problems for ourselves. And since then, we seem to have ticked the box, which is the problem box. Rob Sanchez has been very good. So I want to say this about Donnarumma, okay? Because a lot of people want Chelsea to go for Donnarumma, rightly so, because he's a world-class goalkeeper who on his day can win the biggest games for Paris Saint-Germain and Italy, unfortunately, as an England fan. Donnarumma isn't that great with his feet. Enzo Maresca wants a goalkeeper that can play with his feet, which is why when Chelsea were going to sign Mike Maignan, I was beyond excited because the distribution on that guy is magnificent. But I also can't deny that Robert Sanchez has massively improved. So I know I sat here on this channel in front of this microphone and I said I never want to see Sanchez playing goal for Chelsea again. Well, lo and behold, guess what? If he does, it don't mean I'm going to stop watching Chelsea play. And I'm not going to not praise him because he's done a lot better. He has. So at the moment, if Chelsea do stick with Sanchez, I'll back him. But trust me, I'll be pissed off if we see the Sanchez of the season before last and the start of last season. If we don't see this constant improvement and Sanchez performing like a top keeper, of course it's going to be annoying. Donnarumma to Chelsea, we're not really hearing too much about it yet, but let's see if anything develops as the window goes on. The latest again regarding Keenan Yildiz to Chelsea. There was still talk last night from Fabrizio Romano regarding Keenan Yildiz to Chelsea, and I spoke about this in a lot more detail in this morning's video, so check that one out. But I think at the moment it's very clear that Chelsea are very much on the case when it comes to Xavi Simons. The next story, again, another one that I genuinely can see progressing, and I don't want it to. There's a lot of stories at the minute where obviously we can be all happy that transfers are coming in. Xavi Simons looks good. Yoel Hato at the moment, it's a little bit quiet, but I don't think that's a problem. Josh Acheampong is admired by Bournemouth as they seek a new centre-half. Now, if you didn't know, PSG are in for Zabani. They've obviously lost Dean Howson to Real Madrid. Bournemouth, I don't think, are in as sticky of a position as Brentford are in right now. And we're going to talk about Brentford, unfortunately, for them in a moment, because it's very relevant to Chelsea, because Brentford are starting to panic. They're digging their heels in, and Wissa isn't leaving, but they're losing so many players and their manager. But Josh Acheampong to Bournemouth, not only would this be a very good move for Josh, if it was a loan, I don't think Chelsea can risk this, purely because Reece James has been in very good injury form, let's say, in recent weeks and months, because he's not been getting injured. But again, touch wood, this is a very heavy-duty wooden desk I'm on right now, I promise you. Hopefully this is the end of those injury problems that Reece James has suffered throughout years of his career. Based on the way that Maresca's playing him, I'm going to say, as well as his own determination and physical stature, right? But Malo Gusto can only really play if he's going to be an overlapping fullback. So Josh Acheampong, I think this season, is going to be very much needed at Chelsea. Not only for making up the numbers, I get it, right? He's a real good, strong talent, can play in centre-back, can play probably as a DM, can play as a right-back, and can probably play as a left-back too. But is there going to be enough opportunities for him? And is he going to want to stay and be picking up Carabao Cup minutes or substitute appearances more frequently than starting? Because we know that Maresca loves Malo Gusto, and we saw in the Club World Cup just how dangerous Malo Gusto can be. And even if you ask me this, I've said this all week, if Malo Gusto, if there would have been an offer before the Club World Cup, I'd have been like, maybe we should sell him. But then he really impressed me during that tournament, and I can definitely see him getting a lot more minutes with Reece James even in the team. So for Josh Acheampong, Bournemouth could be a huge move for him. And I won't lie, it would be a very good signing for both him, the player, and Bournemouth. But I don't want Chelsea to sell him. If there is a loan here where he's guaranteed to be a starter, maybe this could work. But again, it's so risky, because can we rely on Reece James to stay fit for a sustained period of time? I'm still not fully sold on that. So let's see if anything develops here. We move now into the latest on Nicolas Jackson. Craig Hope, who, if you don't know, he's a very reliable reporter for the Daily Mail in the northeast of England. Craig Hope says, exclusive, Nicolas Jackson, Ollie Watkins, Yoane Wissa, Benjamin Sesko are all on NUFC striker shortlist. At the moment for Newcastle, I'm going to say it's panic stations right now, because they have got Champions League football. They've signed Anthony Elanga. But other than that, nothing has happened. And every player that Newcastle have been interested in, the door has ended up being closed and they haven't signed, or they've gone to somebody else. And even this, from 2 hours ago, is huge from a Newcastle standpoint for Nicolas Jackson. And we'll go into more detail in a second. But Ben Jacobs, exclusive. Brentford have closed the door on a Yoane Wissa exit after NUFC raised their bid to 30 million. Wissa refusing to train and disappointed by Brentford's stance. Player feels Brentford have broken a pact allowing him to leave for 26 million and wants Champions League football. Again, Wissa is a very good player and scores loads of goals and would improve Newcastle. But NUFC have told the door is closed unless they pay 50 million, which is probably why Nicolas Jackson is now in the conversation. Because if Newcastle are going to have to pay that much money, then they may as well start looking at a different bracket of striker. Benjamin Sesko also on their list as well. So it looks to me as though this deal for Newcastle just isn't going to happen for Yoane Wissa. So no surprise, they are now looking at Nicolas Jackson. And selling Nicolas Jackson to Newcastle is probably the most worrying of any of the links that we've seen so far. Aston Villa have got a great manager, but do I think Aston Villa can go further? I'm going to say no. I think Villa's ceiling is challenging for the top 4, but that's probably about as far as they can go. That's my prediction. With Newcastle, obviously there's a big issue there with PSR. They're quite unlucky, I would say, Newcastle. I will add that in there because PSR rules have become so strict, and they are the next multi-billion, if not trillion, owners that they could have spent so much money if PSR wasn't there. But for Newcastle, it's mainly the fact they got Champions League football and the squad is going to be weaker because Alexander Isak wants to go. The latest on that one, there isn't really a latest at the moment. Liverpool are looking at what the bid's going to be, but they're trying to sell Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez. So Nicolas Jackson to Newcastle is worrying because all in all, despite losing Isak, I'm not going to say anything stupid here, but I could see Nicolas Jackson doing a similar role. Whether he can do it to Isak's standard, no, he can't right now, because he's not as good of a player as Alexander Isak. But I do think Jackson would thrive under Eddie Howe at Newcastle. And it would be annoying, wouldn't it, to see Nicolas Jackson go to another Premier League club and be a 20-goal-a-season striker. And this might be a very unpopular opinion, but I certainly think Jackson could be a 20-goal-a-season striker if he's leading the line every week for Newcastle. And that might be a really bad take. That's genuinely what I believe could happen. So Newcastle are interested, and I didn't break this news because I don't do that kind of thing on this channel, but I did say a few weeks ago, maybe even a week ago, Jackson to Newcastle makes so much sense to me. And now we are seeing the reports coming out. So let's see where everything goes with that one. Xavi Simons, positive talks, owner to owner. Chelsea want to get the deal done quickly. Yoral Hato, still silence at the moment. Got no updates for you there. But stay tuned to GBFC because if there is updates and more news, I will, of course, keep you in the loop here on the channel. And let me just quickly refresh on the channel now and see if we have hit. No, we haven't. We're still one away. Are you kidding me? Anyway, I'm gonna upload this now because I hope we will hit 350k today. So thank you. If you want to check out Supreme CBD, the new channel partner here on GBFC, I've got a Benson 40% off code. There's a QR code on the screen or a link down below. The same for the GBFC kits. GBFC 10 is the discount for the new Chelsea kits this season and everything at the Chelsea Megastore. Thanks for watching. Come on, you Blues.